We need these two on. Thank you very, very much. So, Mr. Polukashvili, I am, apparently someone is saying that I'm the executive secretary because our real executive secretary is actually now in Spain. But I'm very honored to be here. And now is the moment when we will all try to be a little bit more formal. I will share some housekeeping rules. I will warn you that after the housekeeping rules expressed, we have two very special guests from the industry who are going to address the issues of the tourism industry. You've all downloaded the Sorrento call to action from the application. I'm sure during the break, while you were jumping up and down and taking pictures, you were also thinking about what to say. So we're confident in your contribution. The way it's going to work is that we will proceed with a series of acts, formal acts, which will allow us to ratify the final document, which is the Sorrento call to action. You will be at some point asked, you're not obliged to. This is the United Nations, so it's a free world. We will have the Sorrento call to action projected on stage, and you are very free to put down your contribution and raise your hands. Now, in the United Nations world, the raising your hand works with this. So whenever you want to speak, you raise your tag like this. Excellent. Doesn't mean that you're going to have to do it from now because you're going to create confusion. Because these two people here have light beams on top, I have my very efficient team, which is going to be looking at all of you to make sure that it's going to give me a speaking order so that whatever you have to say, you're going to be allowed for a voice. Please bear in mind that the Sorrento call to action is a result of the 3 beautiful days of your work here. Our team has listened to you. They took notes. You also put a lot of notes up there, and you've done a tremendous job. Thank you very much. So we hope that we have facilitated as much as possible the fact that this Sorrento call to action really reflects your opinion. Now, I would like to be called to be joined on stage, if my Secretary General allows. I'd like to call on stage some help from the team. We normally, Secretary General, have Alicia, Zoritza, everybody here, legal counsel, executive director. I would now like to kindly ask Azer Abasaliev to find his space. If you can find your space next to me. Do we have enough chairs for the executive vice presidents? Good. Thank you very much. So, Azer will be supporting me, supporting the Secretary General, and supporting all of you for the procedures. Some more housekeeping rules. We will be proceeding. We will be discussing whatever your comments are to change on screen. We will do it live so that at the end of your discussion, the document will be finalized. And then we're going to ask you if you want to approve it. Normally, in the United Nations, Secretary General, correct me if I'm wrong, in the United Nations, we tend to proceed by the so-called acclamation, which means that we're somehow all in agreement. And that allows us to proceed speedily, because you can imagine that with 193 members at a UN level, 160 at UNWTO level, if we had to vote for every single element, we will probably be here another week. And I think Hilton is going to be very happy when we all leave on Sunday, right? So we cannot afford that. Which means that definitely your opinion matters, but we leave it up to your very wise judgment to make sure that if you agree or if you can find a compromise, then you will go for acclamation. Now, I would like to ask Azer if I have forgotten anything in the housekeeping rules.
I don't believe so. I believe you have mentioned all the matters.
Thank you, but your presence here actually allows me to mention another very special support that we have, and that's from Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has been a great supporter of this event from the beginning. And thanks to Azerbaijan, Secretary General, we have the possibility of having people like Azer in our team. So thank you very much. So may I proceed?
Please.
Can I have the agenda on screen, please? So, dear all, it is time to move to the main point, which is the agenda of today. And for this reason, it is my pleasure to invite on stage the actual president of the General Assembly of the UNWTO, Ms. Caridad Alarcón Sánchez, representative of Spain, the country that hosted the last 24th session of the UNWTO General Assembly. Caridad, please reach us on stage.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And the Kingdom of Spain, the host country of the World Tourism Organization on the 24th session of the UNWTO General Assembly, had an honor to welcome the delegation of 160 member states of the organization in December 2022 in Madrid, Spain. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you all today here in beautiful Sorrento. I am very happy to see so many young faces coming from 57 countries and all regions. We meet here today with the objective to hear the concerns, ideas, and visions of young people across the globe regarding the future of tourism, to exchange views on the key and complex issues affecting tourism and its sustainable development, to present, discuss, and adopt the Sorrento Call to Action, Youth for Sustainable Tourism for policymakers and tourism stakeholders. In accordance with Rule 16.1 of the Rules of Procedure of the General Assembly of UNWTO, we open today's session of our General Assembly. I pass the floor to the Executive Secretary.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Secretary General, they don't applaud in our General Assembly. Isn't it beautiful? Well done, Caridad.
Well, with you, it's isn't much funny.
Thank you, Madam President. Before starting the session, allow me to share some important housekeeping information. As most of you know, sustainability is at the heart of UNWTO's mission, and the future of tourism depends on it. Considering this, and to ensure that the approval of the decisions that are to be made will go smoothly, I am informing you that the sessions of the Assembly will be paperless and in real time, as you can see from the screen. Hence, those who have not downloaded the UNWTO GYTS application yet, please may do so now. Simultaneous interpretation is available in the official languages of UNWTO. Arabic, English, French, Russian, Spanish. Thank you to the interpreters that have been following us all these days. In order to provide the possibility for everyone to take the floor, all interventions must observe the following rules. Only refer to the agenda item being discussed. Focus on time. You have seen today one important thing, which is that time is of essence. Yes? We have a countdown clock allowing 2 minutes from the beginning of each intervention. And I wish I had it before as well. This will help you to ensure the relevance of your contribution. Now back to you, Madam President, for agenda item number 1.
Thank you very much. I refer you to the provisional agenda shared with you all earlier today in accordance with Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the General Assembly. I now open the floor for comments, so if anyone has anything to say, just raise as we said. Are there any observations on the proposed agenda?
Sorry, I will explain a little bit what is this. Normally, agenda is much wider. I will have more than 10 or 15 items. As we are doing simulation, we put 2 agendas. Maybe you can raise a hand and say that I want to put something additional. If you have, if not, we can follow.
If there are no further comments, I consider that the final agenda is adopted and as it appears in the draft. Continuing, rule number 43 of the General Assembly's Rules of the Procedure provides that all elections are carried out by secret ballot. Nevertheless, the presidents of the previous 24th sessions of the Assembly were all elected by acclamation after consultations among delegations. Traditionally, the host country of the session shall perform as the president of the session. The Republic of Italy is a single proposal. In line with the above practices, I consider that we can elect the new president by acclamation. If there is no objection, the Republic of Italy, represented by Ms. Eleonora Massa, is elected president of today's session of the UNWTO General Assembly. I now invite Ms. Eleonora Massa to proceed over the Assembly.
Dear colleagues, it is a great honor and immense pleasure to host today's UNWTO Assembly session. Italy is very proud to welcome the young delegates from all over the world and be host of the first edition of the Global Youth Tourist Summit. According to the agenda, it is now time to elect the vice presidents of the session. The statute indicates that the Assembly shall elect its vice presidents based on equitable geographical distribution, allowing exception for the region represented by the President. All regions, Africa, Europe, Americas, Asia, and the Pacific and Middle East, have already assigned their representatives to perform as vice presidents after consultation among member states. They are Hungary, Paraguay, Iran, Morocco, and UAE. I would like to kindly ask if there are any objections regarding the election of the vice presidents. If no, I offer to adopt this decision by acclamation. Now, I'm asking representatives of these countries to join me and take their seats at the presidential table.
Hungary, Paraguay, Iran, Morocco, and UAE.
Now we can proceed further and discuss the next item of the agenda. For this, I would like to ask my colleague from Hungary to preside over this item.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I would like to seek kind assistance of the technical crew to project the draft of the Sorrento call to action on the displays. The Sorrento call to action, Youth for Sustainable Tourism, outlines the concerns, ideas, and visions of the youth of a responsible and inclusive tourism. It has been developed by the youth of 57 countries brought together at the first Global Youth Tourism Summit on the principle that tourism has a transformative impact to improve the lives of people, the protection of the environment, the eradication of poverty and of inequality. It is built on the proposition that the engagement of the youth with decision makers can contribute to identify the most urgent priorities to build a responsible tourism sector. It states that decision makers must empower the youth, providing them with opportunities to voice their concerns, that it must stimulate education to ensure responsible travelers and professionals, that we must all be aware of the environmental footprint of mobility. The Sorrento call to action is our call to you so that we may work together, because we must work together towards the transformation of tourism in the most positive way for our present and future generations. Allow me, on behalf of all delegates, to present our immense gratitude for the work made by the committees and for the preparation of draft of the Sorrento call to action, Youth for Sustainable Tourism. Now I would like to pass the floor back to the President.
For the first part of the deliberations, I would like to ask my colleague from Morocco, Reda, to moderate the session.
Thank you. Where's the clapping? I would like to remind you all, the delegates, that each delegation is entitled to deliver their position within 2 minutes. We have a countdown clock allowing 2 minutes from the beginning of each intervention. If any delegation wishes to deliver their position, I kindly ask them to raise their hand and thus ask for floor. Now it is time to start our deliberation. And the first to speak is
the Executive Secretary. He is the first to speak. So, Mr. Vice President, it always happens when we're doing a General Assembly that there are some sudden changes in the agenda, something has to be urgently communicated. So before leaving the space for the very important moment of the deliberations, we would like to be joined on stage by the voices of the tourism industry that are going to allow you to have a little bit more insights about the private sector of two major areas, hospitality and transports. So please allow me to welcome on stage for very short and beautiful remarks, Dominique Piquemal, who's the Vice President Europe for the Hilton Group, that have been not only our kind hosts, but also great supporters of the idea of the Global Youth Tourism Summit. Dominic, please, can you join us on stage?
All right, so, you know, I'm looking here. I didn't become a vice president until I was in my 50s, guys, right? Where's the applause there? You know, there you go. When I was asked to speak, I did a little research on you guys and see what you're doing, and it's amazing. Actually, when I walked around to see the breakouts of plastic, you know, eliminating plastic, food waste, and all these great master classes, and also Chef Rodriguez showing some cooking skills as well. It's great to see that a lot of things are aligned to what we're doing. As Vice President Hilton, I think I have the best job in the world because I get to travel. I'm a global citizen. I get to travel everywhere. And every time I travel to a new destination, I always get the same questions. First question always is, do I know Paris Hilton? No, I don't know Paris Hilton, so that's it. Second question, I always ask, what's my favorite hotel? It's kind of hard because Hilton has over 7,000 hotels, over 1 million beds, and we have another 2,500 hotels coming up. So it's hard to say, but you know what? My favorite hotel is not actually a hotel, it's the people inside the hotel. And I think when we talk about those people, in our industry, this is probably one of the crises that we've had during the pandemic and coming through, is really getting these top talent into our industry. And we see it, as you guys traveled here, some of the airports in the UK, Frankfurt, we know, Amsterdam, there's a lot of issues with trying to find people to work and trying to get people in. Same with the hotels. Actually, this year is probably a little bit better than last year, and we're getting better at that. So it's short term, that's one of the issues. Second is supply chains of getting products across the different parts because we've become more global. And we're trying to act a lot more locally. And as you guys had lunches and dinners from Sorrento, everything is within 20 kilometers. So it's pretty amazing. But I have to tell you, I commend you because all my staff has said to me, you give us hope. You give us hope as leaders to progress this. The long-term issue is being sustainable, right? And that's a tougher issue. Hilton is committed to 61% reduction of our carbon footprint, according to the Paris Accords. 61%, that's pretty large by 2030. We want to do better, and what we ask is each employee to assist on that, to reduce our carbon footprint. Our guests are telling us, we like that idea, can you do it for meetings? So we're actually introduced this year carbon neutral for meetings. So we do this and show them a calculator of their meeting and what does that entail. And the third part is really, you know, how do we integrate, and Conrad Hilton was 100 years ago, started the company, a little over 100 years, Paris's great-grandfather, so you know. And he always thought, you know, by opening worldwide hotels, you really bring people together and bring communities together. And so we are into the communities. And it's great to see. I was just in Milan. We were cleaning up the riverways of plastic with the team and some of the customers. Very successful event where one of our programs is Travel with Purpose. And some of the things that we do is really give sabbaticals to employees for 3 months paid to go and do something for the environment or for their community. And in the UAE was one young lady who was a diver, and she set up around the world these diving clubs to go and dive on a certain day of the week to pick up trash from the bottoms of the ocean. Pretty amazing people. So, you know, as we go forward, we are looking every which way to be more sustainable. But we need your help, and we need you to demand it from us to make us better. So the only thing I can give you as word of advice going forward as leaders is to dream bigger. Because if you dream bigger, things will happen. So thank you. Where's my applause, my Moroccan friend? All right, there you go.
Can I? Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Pikemal. Thank you very much, Vice Chair, Minister Reda. I would now like to pass the floor directly, if you allow me, Chair, to the Vice President from the region of Asia, which is Mr. I have someone else indicated here, but is it Mohammed? Mohammed Hussein Rwande from Iran. Please, Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Veronica Pamillo, Vice President for International Relations and Sustainability at Aeroports di Roma. Sorry for the pronunciation, I don't know Italy very well. Please, Mrs. Veronica Pamillo, welcome.
So, thank you, and thank you, WTO, for having me here. I am so proud and honored as Aeroporti di Roma to be here to talk with you, GYTSers, because, as you know, you're the generation of the future, and we're so proud that you and WTO is continuing investing on you. We know that the future will exist only if the future generation and the people that now take decision will talk together and define a path which is shared. So thank you for being here. It's really an honor. I wanted to show you a video. I'm not sure if it's available, but in any case, I wanted to tell you a long short story made short about what an airport has suffered during the pandemic. We have had our runways, which are normally, in normal times, full of people and full of flights. We experienced them completely empty. And during those times, there were two alternatives. We could have decided to stay still and wait until the pandemic ended, or try to rethink our strategy, think about what the solution could be, and how we could better get into the transformation that the country and the world was facing. So that's the choice that we made. We've decided to do our best, rethink about our strategy in sustainability and culture, and that's what we did. We enhanced our effort in culture, and probably you have seen it, but we've showed a flavor of Italian culture in the airport. This is something that is key for us. We are the first door to the country, and we want to do all of our efforts to ensure that passengers understand where they are and which is the Italian culture. On sustainability, that, as has been said, is the key for the future. We are doing our best on circular economy, on waste management, reduction of the use of water, but mainly on decarbonization. As you know, emissions are the most important, most significant issue that the air transport sector is facing, and we want to be leader in that. We are an airport, Yes, we're the airport of Rome, but we can do our best to lead the way for a path that put together all the companies and the stakeholders that will have to work in decarbonization. And that's what we did. We decided to create a COP, a Conference of Parties, an Italian one, to define together the roadmap for decarbonization. So coming to 2022 and why we're here, and I'm proud to say that this strategy that we chose was a winner one, and that we have been recognized by UNWTO as the best airport worldwide in sustainability. This is something that made me personally understand that when you have to cope with a challenge, even the most difficult challenge you can face, you have this choice. You can be still, or you can decide to be resilient, resistant, sound, brave, and a little bold. And that's what we did. And I have to admit, if I may, that being here and feeling all your energy, the energy of the future generation, makes me even more optimistic about the future. So thank you for this energy. Thank you for having me here, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
We shall continue our discussion, and
ognuno di noi di fatto davvero rappresenta l'azienda, rappresenta qui il nostro logo, ma in realtà rappresenta i nostri valori. I nostri valori devono essere di unità, di forza, di spinta, di passione, di voglia di fare, di amore. E oggi ognuno di noi compone un pezzo di azienda.
You see why I break the rules? Because my Secretary General always breaks the rules. Please, go ahead, Secretary General.
The world never stopped turning. The clock never stopped ticking. Now is the time to travel, to embark on new adventures, to venture into the future. It's time for goodbyes and fresh encounters. It's a time for innovation, for state-of-the-art infrastructure, for fast connections. It's time to invest in new energy sources, to take care of the environment, and to enhance it. It's time to rediscover our history and cultural roots so we can open up to new forms of art. It's a time of passion, of trust in one's neighbor in their abilities and professionalism. It's time to experience a new sense of belonging and inclusion, and to set off together on a long journey. It's our time. And we're already living it.
Now you can, Secretary General. Please, the floor is yours. Hello? Microfono. Microfono.
Okay, I can use this one, but you have to help me with the dates, once COVID, it's more remark, just talking about Aeroporto di Roma, because once COVID started, me and Alessandra, we visited first July or June?
1st July.
Okay, that's why it was mentioned 1st July. 1st July, Aeroporto di Roma was the first airport which was open in Europe. And we had the honor to participate in that. And it's very symbolic that we are here, and Veronica, she's here. Our best regards to Marco, who is the boss of the airport. So nothing, and many thanks again from UNWTO, what you did for us and for our dear friends, UNWTO and this summit, and you were everywhere in Aeroporto di Roma. Okay, dear President, you can continue. I'm sorry. But I think, no, it's yours.
Yes.
Thank you, Secretary General, for your wise words, and thank you, Mrs. Veronica Pamio, for your observation and thoughts. We are acknowledging the importance of interaction with the private sector and the necessary to hear their opinion. I now give back the floor to the President of the Italy.
Dear colleagues, we shall continue our discussion and move forward. I will kindly ask my colleague from Paraguay, Ms. Evany, to moderate the next part of our meeting. Please, the floor is yours.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Continuaremos las deliberaciones. Doy la palabra.
We will continue with the deliberation, so I now give the floor for interventions to hear your opinions, positive or negative opinions. And so I invite you to tell your homeland and your name.
Deliberation of the next item.
Thank you, President. And alongside the protests on the group chat, I wish to thank all the delegates for their valuable contributions and the excellent work performed today. I would like to request the technicians to show the final draft version of the document on the displays. Passing the floor to the Executive Secretary.
Thank you very much, Minister Al-Junaibi, for passing me the floor back. Dear all, I think we did not give enough space for some very relevant comments that were coming just after the incredible presentation of the industry. So with the permission of the chair, of the Secretary General, and of the Vice President of Paraguay, who opened the floor for the deliberations, I would like to give your esteemed colleagues the possibility of expressing some thoughts, because I think they feel it's time. What time is it? Great. So I would like to kindly ask to support the work of the Vice President of Paraguay. I would like to kindly ask you to raise this as explained, and then my colleagues are going to be taking the list, bringing it back to me, and or especially to the Vice President for her to be able to give the floor. So let's rewind and let's go back to the first person that put the flag up.
Ok, le cedo la palabra al país de Ucrania.
I give the floor to Ukraine.
It works? Yes, it works. Shall I start? Yes. Good afternoon, distinguished President of the United Nations General Assembly, members of Secretariat, Secretary General, fellow delegates. A delegation of Ukraine is very glad to see everybody at this session. We look forward to extensive expert and high-level discussions on exploring possibilities for the United Nations and its member states to redouble their joint efforts in responding to global issues of nowadays. One of the most crucial of current problems of the United Nations is about being always concerned. Reading the call of action, we see just words, not the actions. It's our position. And it deeply correlates with the problem of social stratification of the population, uneven distribution of goods among the member states, their uneven development. In the late 1960s, the United Nations began to pay special attention to the least developed countries, recognizing those countries as the most vulnerable among the international community. The 46 current LDCs comprise around 880 million people that have severe structural impediments to growth and account to less than 2% of world GDP. This communique or declaration suggests us, the members of the United Nations, to invest, to reduce poverty, to fundraise, to support business and economy. But how? Without the institutionalization and the further elaborating of the cooperation between UN agencies. So our motion is based on the inclusion to this document, the paragraph about international cooperation. We suggest the United Nations General Assembly to involve the second committee of the Assembly to raise the question of redistribution of cash flows, including UN funds for the systematic development of countries that suffer from poverty and wars and cannot achieve prosperity on their own. Calls upon the entities of the United Nations system in the context of the SDG to promote sustainable tourism, including ecotourism, as an instrument that can contribute to achieving those goals, in particular when it comes to eradicating extreme poverty and ensuring environmental sustainability, and to support the efforts and policies of developing countries in this field. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Muchas gracias, Ucrania.
Thank you very much, Ukraine. Now I want to admit that you have only 2 minutes to speak. If there is any other country who wish to comment, it's your right. Secretary General wants to give an answer to Ukraine.
Interesting intervention, Ukraine. And to don't forget this momentum. Now I'm serious, not simulation. I promise you, the day this horrible order will finish, next Global Youth Summit will be in Ukraine, okay? But I'm serious. And then all of us will go to, I don't know, it will be Mariupol, or if it will be Kiev, or it will be Odessa. We will go there, okay? Till? Thank you. Thank you, Vicepresidenta.
Otro país.
Another country? Mr. President, I understand that there are no further interventions, so I give you the floor once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evany. I would like to ask Mr. Abdallah to proceed with the deliberation of the next item.
Thank you for that, Madam President. Now I would like to proceed further with the approval of the document. I wish to remind you that the approval of the document will be conducted by roll call vote, meaning that each country will be called by name in the English alphabetical order, and the representative of that nation will voice their position, which could be a yes, a no, or abstentions. I would like to ask the Executive Secretary to call each country and proceed the voting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chair. First of all, I would like to make sure the Sorrento call to action, which has been screened on stage during your intervention. Can I please have it back on screen? Did everyone have a chance to read it? Did everyone have a chance to read it? Thank you very much. I would like to kindly ask my team to bring me the list of the roll call voting, please. Roll call voting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Abbasaliyev. So the roll call should imply that you say you're in favor, you're not in favor, or you're abstaining. Albania.
Hello. Yes, representing Albania, I think yes. And thank you.
Yes, please, Mr. Abbasaliyev.
Yes, if I may, dear honorable delegates, our Madam Executive Secretary will be calling your country names. As you mentioned, you are kindly requested to indicate if you are in favor, against, or you are abstaining from voting regarding the Sorrento call to action as an outcome document of the first Global Youth Tourism Summit. So if you would like to say yes, you are in favor, you say you are in favor. If you don't agree, you say you are against. And if you don't want to vote, you say you are abstaining. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abbasaliyev. I shall proceed with the roll call vote. I remind you in alphabetical order of all the countries represented. Secretary General is signaling me that the representative of Ukraine would like to take the floor. I would like to remind you that taking the floor was pertaining to the previous part, but would you like to say something specific?
Yes, our delegation has a point of personal privilege. We would like to ask the fellow members of Secretariat the question about the necessity to approve the quorum of the delegation that are presented here at this session of the General Assembly, to be aware of the specific quantity of presented delegates, to know of whether they are present and voting or absent today. We would like to ask about the necessity of this. It's necessary, or we can just go further to the voting procedure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ukraine, for your intervention. With the permission of the Vice President and the Secretary General, I may address the response to this question. Thank you. We need 38 countries to be in favor or against the document. Thank you very much for the question. Mr. Vice President, you shall decide how we proceed, because we have just literally interrupted the roll call voting. So, Delegate of Switzerland.
Excuse me. Switzerland has a question. Due to translation errors in my head, we didn't fully understand, and we thought we could still make alterations to the document, and we thought this was just a general question round.
Due to that, we have actually mentioned earlier that the document should be confirmed by all the delegates. Now we are refraining from actually altering the document, so apologies. And one more point, that the floor of altering the document has been open for you guys, so apparently, and apologies, you cannot. Thank you.
Mr. Al-Junaibi, if you allow me, Mr. Al-Junaibi, from Vice President, if you allow me,
Yes.
I would like to propose to the current General Assembly, do you think we're ready to go for voting because you all feel comfortable, or you prefer to vote on the necessity of voting? So I would like to, Vice President, please, Democratic Republic of
Democratic Republic of Congo, the floor is yours.
Microphone, please. Active.
Donc, moi, j'ai mon...
I want to take the floor. We couldn't take the floor, sorry, in an important moment. And so we are taking into account the realities of each country. I think that the context matter. For example, in Ukraine, that doesn't have the same context than France has. So I think we should readopt the law according to what happens in each country and the issues that each country has to deal with. I think there should be some specific details connected to the context of each country. Jada said that the places most subjected to war and poverty were given priority, and I think that I would have liked most that this document proposal would review the specific details. So considering according to the context in each country, the necessity to readopt the law according to each country's context.
Dear delegates, according to the previous occurrence that have happened, we would like to open for context alteration of the document. Should we do a vote for that? Like to alter the document? She wants to change the context of the document. So we're going to open the floor for deliberations. If you are... So... So for now, we're going to open the floor for context alteration if the delegates are in need of alteration of the document context. So, Amy? Delegate of Switzerland, can we have the mic?
You can sit, Amy, no problem. Thank you. You're already tall enough. If you stand up, it's a disaster.
I'm sorry. Well, first of all, sorry for the interruption. But dear General Secretary, dear President, dear Vice Presidents, dear delegates, and dear friends, I want to quickly start by thanking you all for putting a lot of time, effort, and patience into this Global Youth Tourism Summit and its outcome, the Sorrento Call to Action. It's a great declaration with points that all of us work together on and that can hopefully project our wishes to the world leaders in the United Nations World Tourism Organization and United Nations. Nevertheless, Switzerland thinks that it is not perfect yet. In our opinion, there are some points that are in need of precision, of a little push towards the future, especially in the environmental part. Therefore, I propose the following alterations. Under the paragraph of for the planet, I propose under point 2, furthering and investing in environmentally friendly means of transport, including wider use of public transport, cycling and walking, if that is understood.
Delegate of Switzerland, can you please repeat that?
Yes. Furthering and investing in environmentally friendly, and the rest says the same. Yes. Then, if I may, committing to and acting upon preserving natural heritage and biodiversity for current and future generations. Committing to and acting upon. And last but not least, for point 7, taking immediate necessary actions to cease the use of single-use plastics while traveling and provide alternatives to travelers. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Delegates of Switzerland, before we move on, does this change reflect on what you have proposed? The mic, please.
Microfono
Yes,
per piacere.
It does. Thank you very much.
It does. Okay, great. Any other delegates who would like to be open the floor of context alteration of the document? Switzerland?
I'm sorry, my error. I read it wrong. Not seize the original seize the was already right. Thank you very much.
Now, does this reflect on the recent changes?
Yes, it does.
Right. Okay, thank you. Other delegates, do we have any context alteration from other? Delegate of Ukraine, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, our delegation want to use this possibility as a right of reply. We want to express our gratitude to all the delegates who confirmed the territorial integrity and sovereignty of our country, of Ukraine. Thank you so much. No words can replace the emotions of the horrendous problems of the war all over the world of our earth. And especially of the war that the terrorist country Russia has unleashed since 2014. Thanks to the Secretary General of the UNWTO for removing this country from the UNWTO. We fully support the idea of the fellow delegate of the Democratic Republic of Congo of opposing the unification of documents that appear from the press of the United Nations. It may be changed and it may be diverse and versatile according to the current geopolitical situation in the specific region in the world and continents especially. So our motion is to add the specific offer, specific paragraph, to create a system of local employment partnerships by joining the efforts of the State Employment Service, parties to the social dialogue and all interested parties in the local and regional labor market to develop, finance and implement local initiatives in the field of sustainability, sustainable tourism and employment with the aim of creating jobs and prompt employment of the unemployed in order to actually improve the branch of tourism, especially when we're talking about the domestic tourism, ecotourism, marine one, and the tourism branch as whole. It is our motion that we are considering as one of the most crucial because during our debates and committee meetings from the post days, we have been actually taking into consideration the issue of unemployment and the poverty.
Dear Ukrainian delegates, sorry for intervention, but let me remind every delegate here that we are here to make an action together, and we would like to refrain from political topics if it's possible. This is just in order to connect youth together and be more on like the sustainability topics, as well as we are opening the floor for changing the context alteration of the document. So if other delegates have any context alterations, the floor is open.
I owe you an apology, but our delegation actually had 20 seconds left, so we would like to end our notion. First of all, we use the right given by the Charter of the United Nations to defend our sovereignty and to express the freedom of speech. Actually, it's not about politics, it's about reality. So we had actually proposed one paragraph that had to be added in this call for action communique or declaration. So we would like to discuss and elaborate on this topic with fellow delegates represented here. Thank you so much.
If you have any extra sentences you would like to add, please
Raise your voice, Abdullah.
if you would like to add anything on what you've just said, please do so.
Abdullah, Congo, once again. Democratic Republic of Congo.
Moving to Democratic Republic of Congo, please, the mic is yours.
Madam, may I just remind Mr. Vice President, in support of his pledge for a very fruitful and substantial discussion, we would kindly ask you, also by respect of the other delegates who have not decided not to intervene, to keep your intervention not only in between the 2 minutes, but just to remind you that we are now discussing the content of the call to action in order to proceed potentially to the deliberations. Thank you very much, Madame GYTS from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The floor is yours.
Donc, mesdames et messieurs,
So I would like to add a small paragraph where each country could decide and adapt the law according to their own context. So I propose this paragraph to be added here today. So if this must be done, it's needed to add this paragraph. If we all think about if I think about adapting the law to my country, to France or any other country, this will have different results. So the law can stay generic, but we can maybe act 1 or 2 paragraphs, giving the freedom to countries to adapt this law to each country's context.
Delegate from Cambodia, thank you for thank you for pointing out that we need a new paragraph to be added in the document. Can you please mention where exactly would you like to add the paragraph, in which section and which volume of the document?
j'aimerais que ce soit à la fin du document. Ça veut dire
I would like it to be at the end of the document. So I would like this paragraph to be added here before the signature from each country, just to say that each country must adapt the solutions to the issues of their own community and country.
Your paragraph.
I wanted to say that I would prefer this paragraph to be at the end of the text, stating that each country must ensure that each proposed solution can be adapted to the situation of their corresponding country.
Republic of Cambodia, can you please, Democratic Republic of Cambodia, apologies, Congo, would you please affirm that the paragraph is correct?
Ah oui, ça va. C'est correct.
Yes, it's correct.
Delegates from Andorra, the mic.
Hello. From Andorra, we think that the UNWTO has to act worldwide, and all the laws that you're doing, it's the same for each country. So we think that the paragraph that has been added from Congo is not necessary, and it has not sense in the UNWTO. So I think that's it.
Can you point out where the paragraph is?
Over there, like the last paragraph that you just add.
For the sake of the timings, we will keep the paragraph, and then when it comes to the voting, we can either vote it off or keep it in. Thank you. Ukraine, please. Can we have Jordan? For the sake of time, let's go for Jordan, please. Can we have the mic for Jordan? Make sure you're speaking
loud. I have to agree with Andorra on that paragraph. We think it's unnecessary and shouldn't be added.
Again,
thank you.
We would wait until the voting session, so we're going to vote if the paragraph is going to be included by... No? The floor for Kazakhstan, please. Can we have the mic?
Good evening, fellow President Board. I would like to make a change on the paragraph for people by on the last point. Could you elaborate what conducting timely research means? So in this case, what does timely exactly mean? Is it a year, 2 years, a decade, and what? Please, thank you.
Well, time in this context would be based on the demands that have been offered. It depends on the time space that if they're required to not be late or to be way too early to be conducted. So that's the time in context. I hope that answers your question. Can we have the mic?
Could you elaborate it again, please?
Yeah, so the time in the context would be that it depends on the demands, so that if you want it to be early, or it depends on the demands of the what? So the context would talk about the time of the legislations, where if we want to have it in a certain amount of time span or not.
So does that mean the fellow delegates could add a specific time for this?
This is a general notion that this research has in the time limit.
Okay, thank you.
Can we have the mic for Algeria, please?
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to point out and join my colleagues from actually Ukraine and RDC on the point that they highlighted. For Algeria, we think that we need to readapt the laws in favor of all parties, and by that I'm referring to each and every country, especially the ones that are still in development, just like ours. We really need the last paragraph, so that's why I'm not really with Andorra. I think that we need it, and it will be a great opportunity for each and every country to finally speak out for themselves. Thank you.
Dear Vice President, may I take the chance to remind all of you, including yourself, that the best way to be heard is also to speak clearly and calmly. So please make sure that your messages are clearly delivered. Definitely, there's a position being formed here.
Thank you for that, delegates from Algeria. We will take that into consideration. So, moving on to the United Kingdom, delegates from the United Kingdom, can we have the mic?
Microphone, please.
Okay, thank you, Vice President. The delegation from the United Kingdom would like to recognise that in the paragraph on For the Planet, an important aspect of sustainable development is ensuring that targets and ambitions are followed through and met by both the public and private sector. So we would like to motion that there is a paragraph added below the line ensuring necessary means, which is around reporting quantitatively and annually on progress on the above points. Thank you.
Can you please repeat?
Reporting quantitatively and annually on progress on above points.
Can you please repeat again?
On reporting quantitatively and annually on progress on above points.
Does this reflect on the changes of what you have proposed?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Syrian Arab Republic.
Good evening. Is it working? Yeah. Good evening, fellow delegates. I am representing Syria, and I would just like to point out something in the last paragraph under For the People by, which talks about conducting timely research and surveys. Yeah, that's it. Conducting timely research and surveys to understand the needs of youth in order to anticipate their expectations and wishes. We believe that this research should also be reported and shared with the world in order that all of the countries, all of the members of the UNWTO and all of the world can benefit from such research to facilitate the elaboration of youth-oriented policies. So I would like to add so disseminating the results and facilitating the elaboration of youth-oriented policies.
Disseminating the results.
No need for the facilitating. Thank you very much.
Does this reflect on the changes that you have?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on. Who do we else have? Delegates from the Ukraine, can we have the mic, please?
Thank you so much. First of all, we kindly want to express our feelings and gratitude to all the delegates that raise such really significant issues that were added in this document. It looks better, I have to confess. So we would like to add 3 specific proposals, suggestions. One of them we have send to the WhatsApp group. I know it's like informal, it's not correlated with the rules of procedure.
I'm sorry, but the WhatsApp group is out of our authority, so it's out of our context.
Okay, so first point, you would like to add it in the paragraph number, I'm so sorry, in the paragraph way forward. We call upon the Second Committee of the United Nations General Assembly to establish the special World
Can you
Tourist...
indicate where, please?
Okay, we call upon the Second Committee with the capital letter, please. Thank you. Of the UNGA to establish the special touristic fund for the less developed countries. Fund for the less developed countries to promote their destinations
Promote with one T, please.
And developing without Lee. Thank you so much. Destinations and by further implementations of the SDGs. Thank you so much.
Does this reflect on the changes that you have suggested?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. What's that?
Our delegation kindly like owe an
Apologies
apology.
for the intervention, but we need to move on to the delegate of Egypt.
We
please.
owe you an apology, but you have misheard us because we have mentioned less developed countries, LDC as an acronym. So it changed the whole situation and actually the point of our privilege, our motion. So would you kindly change it to the less developed countries?
If I understand correctly, dear delegate from Ukraine, you mean the less developed?
Last developed. It's
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Dear member states, I think this document is quite well prepared. I kindly want to ask you to respect host country Italy, which prepare a very nice dinner for tonight, and let's go ahead and let's finalize. I think we can discuss it 3 hours more, but again, if you don't see any concrete cosmetic changes we additionally need for it, my proposal will be to leave it for the next hour session. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to delegates from Croatia, please.
Thank you all. Dear delegates, dear president, dear vice president, the Croatian delegation actually has a proposal to the paragraph for the people by. We believe that we should be investing in more affordable tourism options so working and lower class people have access to sustainability because there is no sustainability without inclusion. We believe that everybody should have access to tourism and entertainment regardless of their social status and that we should decentralize tourism for being just for higher class people. Thank you.
Can you please point out where the paragraph is again?
What?
You pointed out a paragraph, did you?
For the people by.
For the people by.
We would like to add this. Thank you.
Yes, can you please repeat the paragraph?
We believe that we should be investing in more affordable tourism options so working and lower class people have access to sustainability because there is no sustainability without inclusion. Thank you.
Please repeat again. Slowly, please.
Investing in more affordable tourism options so working and lower class people have access to sustainability because there is no sustainability without inclusion. Thank you.
Can
Do I
you
need to
please,
repeat again?
Can you please repeat on lower class?
Okay. One second. So working and lower class people have access to sustainability because there is no sustainability without inclusion. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it okay? Do you
does
understand?
this reflect on what you have suggested, the changes?
Yes.
Dear Vice President, would you like me to read the paragraph out loud again for everyone? So the proposal, dear delegate of Croatia, is investing in more affordable tourism options to promote the accessibility of, interesting, sustainable tourism, so that working and lower class people have access to sustainability because there is no sustainability without inclusion. May I kindly advise for a revision of that? We are having, I believe our secretariat is having problems in translating that into a point. Please, secretariat, signal if all is clear.
It's not clear. Can you please repeat the sentence? Rephrase the sentence. The sentence just, it's not comprehensive.
Tourism has to be available for working and lower class people because there is no sustainability without inclusion. Is that fine?
Please, Secretariat, will you be able to incorporate this language into the point?
Damos la palabra a Jordan, país de Jordan. Jordania.
Evani, it's still with him. Lo siento muchísimo.
Can I speak?
Dear delegates from Croatia, can you please reflect, does this reflect on the changes that you have altered?
Okay.
Which paragraph are you referring to?
The first paragraph.
The first paragraph. Yes.
The upper red one.
Yes. Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to move on with the floor to Executive Secretary.
Thank you very much. Dear delegates, it is on behalf of the Secretary General, I would like to reiterate the need, for the sake of time and for the respect of all opinions, to make sure that your intervention is strictly on the text of this Sorrento call to action on which you've been working on for the last 3 days. So in order to respect the work of your delegates, of your friends, please make sure that your interventions are strictly to the points with constructive and understandable inputs. For the sake of time, and as Secretary General mentioned, for the respect of our host country, Massimo, represented here by Massimo Garavaglia, Minister of Tourism, and also just to make sure that you have a further motivation for it, for the fact that Mr. Didier Drogba just came to listen to us, yeah? We don't want to disappoint him and keep him here for an hour, do we? Thank you very much, dear Vice President.
Thank you very much, Executive Secretary. Going back to Democratic Republic of Congo, do you still refrain from removing the last paragraph after listening to your fellow delegates? Democratic Republic of Congo. Do you still refrain from removing the last paragraph after listening to your fellow delegates?
Oui, après avoir écouté mes collègues,
After listening to my colleagues, I think it's needed to add this paragraph to create a difference and to adapt.
Can we have the mic for our delegates from Sudan?
Hello. I have a proposal for the paragraph of for prosperity by.
Can we go to for prosperity? Can you point out the paragraph, please?
Okay. In the second line, uniting efforts to reduce poverty by donating to their local charities and etc., especially in less developed destinations.
Adding etc. is a bit vague, so we cannot really add that. So if that alter is fine with you,
Okay.
so you. So does this reflect on the changes that you have suggested?
Yes.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. For the sake of my delegates here, Executive Secretary, can you please?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vice President. I feel a lot of tiredness in your voice. So it's my duty as Executive Secretary to come to rescue and to remind all delegates present here that we still have to proceed to the roll call voting. Yes? So are your inputs absolutely essential? You, Delegate of Ukraine, you have been given the floor 6 times overall. We do understand that it is your right, but we are kindly encouraging you to consider the possibility of your other colleagues as well intervening and expressing their opinions and maybe rethinking if your input is absolutely essential for the sake of time. So thank you very much for your understanding. I would now, on behalf of the Vice President, who's very tired and needs to take a small voice break, I would like to pass the floor back to the Vice President from Paraguay. Ivani, would you like to moderate this last part and allowing your colleagues, your 3 colleagues here who want to make an intervention, reminding them that we would all like to go and eat, including yourself.
Ok, quisiera recordarles que solo tenemos 2 minutos para opinar.
We have only 2 minutes to intervene. Please remember this. You are reminded that we are late, very late, and we have a dinner waiting for us.
Ok, damos la palabra.
Now the floor to. Sorry, I missed the country name. Bali? Bali? Maybe? No. Bene, noi riconosciamo tutti i cambiamenti fatti. Bahrain, scusate, vengo da Bahrain. Quindi riconosciamo e siamo d'accordo sui cambiamenti fatti. Grazie.
Ok, damos la palabra a Jordania.
Now we give the floor to Jordan. Microfono, per favore.
in the point for prosperity by uniting efforts to reduce poverty, there has been changing to it by donating to their local charities. But I don't think donating to local charities can solve poverty. So if we can vote to remove that or change it to like donating to local charities, because creating job opportunities would be better than donating to local charities. And I don't think it's the General Assembly's point to make to add the point to add donating to local charities, as this comes back to the country, not the General Assembly. If we can kindly remove that.
So, dear delegate from Jordan, just to support the action of the Vice President of Paraguay, you are asking to remove the paragraph that has been introduced by, please remind me which delegation has proposed to introduce? Sudan. So the request of the introduction of this element, you're kindly asking for that to be removed, correct? Great.
¿Qué piensan los demás de lo que acaba de decir?
Va bene? Is it clear? Do you agree? What do you think, you from Sudan, about this new opinion expressed just now about removing this suggestion? Instead of speaking of donation to the local charity to promote new jobs. Può ripetere?
You can donate to the local charities which can help them, because you can build houses and help them with money.
Dear delegate, I think the remark of your colleague from Jordan was based on the fact that this is not a General Assembly deliberation moment, meaning this is not something that the General Assembly can consider. It has to pass by the Executive Council of the UNWTO. So would you accept for this item to be, we will take due note, and we will put this item in discussion in the next Executive Council that is going to take place in Morocco. Would you accept this proposal?
Okay.
Thank you very much, dear delegate of Sudan. So we can proceed with accepting the proposal of Jordan. Please, Vice President, the floor is yours again.
Es el momento de Egipto.
Now, Hilton.
I wanted to mention was already mentioned by the delegate from Jordan, so thank you very much.
Portugal.
From Portugal. Sorry.
And I was giving my opinion about what he said, because in my opinion I disagree with Jordan, because I think that the donations can help, not solve the problem at all, but can help. And we can add this resolution to the problem. We can add the both to this point, in my opinion. Like employing local people and the charities to the local. I don't know, it's my opinion. You can add this. Thank you.
Dear Vice President, if I may, we have removed, in fact.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Es el turno de Cabo Verde, disculpa.
Now the floor to Capo Verde. Sorry, we are a bit tired.
Have a little thing to say that what we think that must be in the document. We have for the 57 countries present here, we have to impose some policies such that will respect all the human rights and make sure that the necessary conditions are created to implement all the issues and points discussed throughout the document in order to accelerate.
Disculpa. ¿Qué parte quieres añadir?
What do you mean?
No se escucha bien.
In the end.
Si puedes hablar un poquito más fuerte, por favor.
Can you speak louder, please? Can you speak louder, please? Please repeat.
For the 57 countries present here, we have to impose some policies such that will respect all the human rights.
I'm sorry, con más pausa.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. For the 57 countries present here, we have to impose some policies such that will respect all the human rights.
Me piden que repitas de nuevo.
Please repeat again.
For the 57 countries present here, we have to impose some policies.
Puedes mirar en la pantalla.
Okay.
Y repites.
Some policies such that policies such that will respect all the human rights and make sure that the necessary conditions are created to implement all the issues and points discussed throughout the document in order to accelerate the development of sustainable tourism. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Can you imagine how hard is my life?
I love this. I'm into this now. This is my new thing.
Pasamos la palabra a la secretaria ejecutiva.
Thank you very much, Vice President. I'm still seeing a lot of hands raised, but I would like to pass the floor to our Secretary General, Zura Parlikashvili.
Okay, I know that you liked it. I know that it's really, and it's very similar what we are doing every 2 years, really. I will tell you more, that the countries have the more or less same approach. I don't want to mention concrete countries, but the same, absolutely the same. It means that You have this different cultures, different approaches. It's really nice. I congratulate you, first of all, to Presidenta, Vice Presidents. They conducted quite well the session. I was surprised. I am surprised. Bravo, really great guidance and managing the General Assembly. I want to congratulate all of you for your interventions. Very happy to see that, and I really believe that you will be in very next future sitting in different international organizations, in different governments. I promised you at the first evening we met on my talks. Now I more confident to say it, and wish you all the best. Many thanks for your active participation. I'm sure that we can continue and we can be here 2-3 more hours. But what is most important thing, and Alessandra, many thanks to you and to your team, to prepare this historical document. Now we are serious. Forget the simulation. This resolution and call of action will be the real one, which we will adopt internally. We never did it. And this will be your voice, the voice of future and voice of youth, recommendations to us. Legally, it doesn't have any power, but internally and for the future, for us, it's very important one. And we will always remember, all of us, we have presence of numbers of ministers, and we will always remember and remind this historical draft and the resolution made by you, which says very concrete actions, which is we need. UN needs reforms. It was mentioned many times from the Secretary General, and I agree, absolutely aligned with him. And this is very concrete document where you see the concrete actions we have to all make, you have to make in the future. We have to follow this remarks, and that's why was all this summit about. So many thanks again, and I wish you good luck. I don't know if Alessandra have to make some closing remarks now, or after crying tomorrow we will make there. The General Assembly was very successful. I want to mention, I thank you again to be with us, to participate, to work with us. Honestly, from Monday you are working very hard. If someone thinks that we came, UNWT and you, to have a leisure, no. We worked very hard. It was very interesting. I want to thank to all our ambassadors, our all teams, Hilton team, my team, Ministry of Tourism of Italy, our translators who are working there, many thanks. All police, all staff, tutores, excellent. We never mentioned them, by the way, and they are 24 hours making this General Assembly historical and the best ever I attended. I would love to have you. They are not ministers here, I can say only Massimo is our big friend. I would love to work with you instead of these ministers, you know. Many thanks. It's very easy, very pleasure. It's a pleasure. You are really professionals. It's not a toast. It's not a Georgian toast. It's really a pleasure to work with you. And I feel it. And it's not easy to be the member states in 1 week. Only 1 week you are working on this subject, and you made it really great. Thank you again. And the floor to you? Executive Secretary. Okay.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. Before I pass the floor back to the Vice President from Paraguay, I would like to remind you that the words of the Secretary General are not to be considered closing remarks, yet an intermediate intervention to remind you that we need to proceed to the roll call vote. So, Vice President of Paraguay, the floor is yours.
Ahora me gustaría continuar con la aprobación del documento. Deseo que recuerden que la aprobación del documento se lleve a cabo por votación nominal, lo que significa que cada país será llamado por su nombre en el orden alfabético inglés y el representante de esa nación expresará su opinión, que podría ser sí, no o abstención. Me gustaría pedirle al secretario general ejecutivo que llame a cada país y procede a la votación.
Yes, the reason why the Secretary General was thanking the translators, the interpreters, is because they have actually finished their shift. So there's no more translation as from now, but this is because you've been discussing so long, you know. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for passing me the floor. I will translate what the Vice President was saying. Now I would like to proceed further with the approval of the document, with all the interventions that you have manifested throughout this very, very rich discussion. And I wish to remind you that the approval of the document will be conducted by a roll call vote, meaning that each country will be called by name in the English alphabetical order, and the representative of that nation will voice their position with a yes, no, abstention. So, according to the mandate given to me by the Vice President of Paraguay, I will now proceed to the roll call list. Albania.
Dear President, Vice Presidents, and fellow delegates, first of all, sorry for earlier. I agree with the Sorrento call for action, so yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Albania. Algeria.
Secretary General, President, Vice Presidents, and well-estimated delegates, it is with a great pleasure that after studying and thinking through each and every point advanced in the document, that Algeria gives its consent. We agree with the Sorrento call to action, and thus, because we think that it benefits our cause and regroups each situation that the countries of the world are in. Thank you so much for your attention.
We are very grateful, dear delegates, for your kind words. We kindly ask you, as said before, to express yes, no, abstention. I shall proceed to Andorra.
No.
Thank you very much. Armenia.
Yes.
I suggest the microphone to remain there. Thank you very much. Austria.
Austria is in favor.
Azerbaijan.
We said yes.
Bahrain.
Representing the Kingdom of Bahrain, we vote for yes.
Barbados.
Favor.
Barbados.
Barbados is in favor.
Thank you. Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Good evening. Bosnia and Herzegovina agrees, so yes.
Cameroon.
Good evening. For Cameroon, it's a big yes.
Cape Verde.
Yes.
Chile.
Chile says yes.
China.
Abstention.
Congo. Congo-Brazzaville.
Je suis favorable.
Congo Democratic Republic.
C'est un grand oui.
Apologies, we didn't hear your answer.
Oui, yes.
Thank you. The Cook Islands.
We say yes.
Côte d'Ivoire.
We say yes.
I like I love it. Croatia.
Croatian delegation is in favor.
Egypt.
We say yes.
France,
France votes in favor.
Georgia,
We say yes.
Germany,
We say yes.
Greece,
Greece is in favor.
Hungary,
We say yes.
Iran,
We say yes.
We say yes.
Israel,
Israel is in favor.
Italy,
Yes.
Jordan,
Abstention calls for study time.
Kazakhstan,
Kazakhstan is in favor.
Kyrgyzstan,
Kyrgyzstan says yes.
Moldova,
Moldova say yes.
Montenegro,
Montenegro is in favor.
Morocco,
Leda, what do you think? You are in favor or not?
I want dinner, but I do say yes.
Yes.
the Netherlands,
Yes.
Pakistan,
Yes.
Paraguay,
Yes.
Portugal,
Portugal says yes.
Qatar,
The delegation of Qatar would vote in favor for the Sorrento call to action as it is in line with the view for Qatar's 2022 vision for the World Cup.
Republic of Korea,
On behalf of the Republic of Korea, we are in favor.
San Marino,
San Marino say yes.
Sao Tome e Príncipe.
Yes.
And happy birthday to one of the delegates. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia,
Saudi Arabia says yes.
Serbia,
We say yes.
the Seychelles,
Seychelles say yes.
Slovenia,
We say yes.
Spain,
Spain says yes.
Sudan,
Abstention.
Switzerland,
Is in favor.
Syrian Arab Republic,
Yes, we're in favor.
Tajikistan,
We are in favor.
Tunisia,
Tunisia is in favor.
Turkey,
Turkey is yes.
Ukraine,
Due to the incomplete and unclear content of the document, we declare the need to improve it, so we abstain.
United Arab Emirates,
The UAE is in favor.
United Kingdom,
Yes.
United States of America,
United States of America says yes.
Yemen.
In favor.
Thank you very much. We have completed the roll call vote. I now ask the Secretariat to bring me the results. Thank you very much, dear Secretariat. Thank you for your hard work. So this is the result of the roll call vote of the first GYTS General Assembly. We have had 4 abstentions, 1 against, 52 yes. I kindly remind you, thanks to the very pertinent question of Ukraine in the beginning of this procedure, that the quorum was 38. Therefore, the Sorrento call to action is formally adopted. I would now like to pass the floor to the chair of the session from Italy, apologies, I'm tired too. Eleonora Massa, please.
Thank you. I congratulate everyone for the input we made today by common efforts. Really, it was impressive. I truly congratulate everyone that did an intervention. And I would like to ask our colleagues to hand over to the Sorrento call to action to the UN WTO Secretary General, Mr. Zurab Pololikashvili, the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, Ms. Yatama Uikamanayake, and to all ministers present at the meeting. Dear friends, allow me to announce that the session of the General Assembly...
Dear President, I'm so sorry. I know that you're following Mr. Reda's inputs, but you will have to allow us a little break to make sure that this Sorrento call to action is brought to stage and to be received by the hands of the UN Secretary here, the United Nations World Tourism Organization Secretary General, the United Nations Special Envoy for Youth, and Mr. Massimo Garavaglia, Minister of Tourism of Italy. So apologies for interrupting, President. I would like to ask the Secretariat if the Sorrento call to action is already printed and be able to hand it over. As you have made some changes to the document, the Secretariat is making sure to print the final version and allow for the ceremony to continue. Allow us, please, 1 minute. Thank you very much. I will take advantage of this time to share with you some housekeeping information. We are officially running almost 2 hours late, which reminds us very much of reality. Secretary General, you guys are hungry, you need to go change, take a bus, and go to your dinner, indeed. We do too. So I would like to just point out that for non-VIPs, for the accompanying persons, the buses are ready to leave at 8 o'clock on this floor. So they will leave from outside, as you've seen on the main hall. There's buses waiting for you there, shall you wish to initiate to move. For the distinguished delegates, the same place, but of course different buses, because you're going to a different destination, to your own very special moment. And for all the other very patient ministers and VIPs and UNWTO ambassadors together with us, transportation will be provided as soon as this is over. Secretariat.
Nine minutes. Eight. Yeah. I know. I don't make the rules. 7. We're gonna miss the buses. Move.
Take a selfie. Selfie. I took a selfie. Objection. I stand for sustainable tourism.
Final words. Ok?
Ok.
Tu dirai di siccome. Just this official moment.
E quindi dico, il momento che hanno aspettato, le session che non facevi before.
Se poi mi puoi dare la parola per fare un po' di housekeeping, nel senso che li faccio
Ok,
vedere.
sì.
And then say non-VAT, it on this floor, non-VAT, that's non-VAT. Say kids. Dear Secretariat, I would like to be informed on the status of the printing of the latest version of the call to action. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, thank you very much, dear delegates. Thank you for the wait. I would now like to officially call on stage Mr. Massimo Garavaglia, Minister of Tourism of Italy. Please, Mr. Garavaglia, if you can come and stand here. Mr. Zura Parlikashvili. In front. Ms. Jayat Vanvikaramanayake. And then I would like to ask the Secretariat to inform me on the delegates that have been chosen to give in the hands of the authorities present here the Sorrento call to action. Please, all ministers present here, join us on stage. Alexandra, Tamuna, if I'm seeing you correctly. Dear Secretariat, would you like to convey to me the decision of the distinguished delegates on who will be delivering the call to action to our authorities?
Please remember me. Remember me.
Okay, I have been given the list. I would like to call on stage distinguished delegates. We're in the final moments, historical moments. Kindly, if you can still keep your seats and be quiet, we will very much appreciate. Thank you very much. Mom and Dad, thank you. I would like to call on stage Jurica Pozilovic from Croatia. I would like to call on stage Georgi Kochkiani. Emanuele Fortunato Persico from Italy. To be delivered in the hands of Minister of Tourism Massimo Garavaglia. I would like to call on stage Jana from Montenegro. Delivery to Alexandra Savicevic. Next in line is Caroline Mullen to deliver the call to action to the Secretary General. And because we like to improvise, we would like to call on stage Mr. Didier Drogba. Please, Didier, join us. Thank you, Didier, for being with us. And we have the distinguished delegate from Morocco also serving as the vice president and one of the two youngest representatives of their country to come on stage, Mr. Reda from Morocco. To give the call to action in the hands of our UNWTO Ambassador for Responsible Tourism, Mr. Drogba. Reda, you're supposed to actually give him the call to action, not keep it for you, yeah? Thank you. Thank you. I now pass the floor to the president of this first UNWTO GYTS General Assembly.
After this very special moment, I would like now to announce the moment that you've all been waiting for. The session of the General Assembly can officially be closed.
Thank you very much, dear delegates. See you next time.